This video will demonstrate how to submit a dutiable transaction involving matrimonial property, such as transactions pursuant to a family court order, enter the email address you registered and the password you created. If you have just registered, you will be automatically logged in. If you have forgotten your password, click on the Forgot Password link and follow the prompts to reset it. You will now be on the home page. You can return to this page at any time by clicking on the home page button or the logo in the top left-hand corner of the screen. In the top section of the home page, you will see the list of services available. To lodge a transaction involving matrimonial property pursuant to a family court order, select Transfer Duty in the Our Services section. You will now enter the details of the lodgement. If this is your first lodgement, you will have the option to link your account to reflect that you are an agent with the authority to lodge transactions on behalf of a taxpayer. Once the details have been added, make sure you select the relevant party from the drop-down on the right-hand side of the screen. It's important to note that you can only link your account on your first lodgement, and once the party has been selected, all subsequent lodgements will be lodged under this party. You will now enter the details of the lodgement. Under Details of Document, you have a number of options. You can browse the transaction list by clicking on the link and selecting the appropriate transaction. The system has a smart mode to help you find the appropriate transaction easily based on the type of transaction you are lodging. For example, if you have a maintenance agreement, you could type the word maintenance. The system will then provide a list of possible transaction types with an explanatory note for each. You can also switch to manual mode, which will provide a drop-down list of dutiable transactions. Once you start entering details, the help function will be available. Near the top right-hand corner, there is a question mark, which is the help function. Clicking on this will display the help topics for this transaction. Now enter the date of the dutiable transaction. Please note if the transaction is older than 2 months, a late lodgement penalty will apply. Select the duty rate from the drop-down, then enter the dutiable value if known. For these types of transactions, where the dutiable value is unknown, enter 0. Enter the number of no double duty certificates required and enter a client reference if applicable. The transaction will default to be between related parties. Click on Continue to proceed. An estimate of the duty payable will now be provided to you. If you have made an error in the first section, click on the Edit button, make the necessary changes, and click Continue. You are now required to enter the details of the dutiable property. Click on the drop-down to select all the types of dutiable property the transaction involves. Further details will need to be provided based on your selection. If land is included, click on the plus sign and enter the relevant details. Click on Continue to proceed. The next section is where you enter details of the interested parties. Click on the plus sign against the parties involved and select the party type, the capacity in which they are acting, and the relevant details depending on your selection. Please note that if you select joint tenants, you can link the parties when entering the second party's details. Where land is included, certain details become mandatory for the receiving party. For example, a date of birth for an individual or an ACN for a company. Click Save once all the details have been entered. Please note fields marked with an asterisk are mandatory. Once the interested parties have been entered, you can click Continue. If a dutiable value was not entered in the Details of Documents section, you will need to complete the Additional Details section. In this section, enter the consideration paid. If there is no consideration, you will need to select the non-monetary consideration reason from the drop-down and enter the total percentage of interest being transferred. Click Continue and proceed to upload your supporting documentation. A list of required and other supporting documents for your transaction will be displayed. Clicking on the document name in the list will open the relevant state revenue form, which you can complete, save, and then upload. Select the document type from the drop-down, locate your scanned document on your device and click the Upload button. The list of uploaded documents will appear at the bottom of the screen. If you upload the incorrect document, click on the bin icon to delete the document and start again. If you are waiting on any information, you can click on the Save for Later link on the right-hand side beneath the Lodge button. Saved transactions can be accessed via the Unfinished Requests link in the top right-hand corner of the page. It's important to note that if a saved transaction is not lodged within 2 months of the transaction date, a late lodgement penalty will apply. The option to Add New Document allows you to add additional transactions to this bundle. This option should only be used for related transactions, for example, aggregated transactions. If you are ready, click Lodge to submit your transaction to State Revenue. You will receive an electronic declaration which you will need to accept. You will receive a Lodgement is Successful notice and be able to download your electronic lodgement form by clicking on the link. Click OK to proceed back to your home screen. You will be notified electronically if additional documentation or evidence is required when your assessment notice has been sent or that the certificate of duty is ready to be printed once you have paid your assessment notice. Once printed, the certificate of duty should be attached to the original transaction record. These communications can be accessed via the notifications icon in the top right-hand corner. You can contact State Revenue directly via a duties web inquiry or calling the relevant number. Details are on our website. Further supporting information can be found in the Duties Information Requirements publication